Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's Lunchtime Learning Blast. We're on Facebook Live, so maybe you're watching on Facebook Live, or maybe you're checking us out later on the recorded webinar on the maybe one of my personal websites, maybe the Merit Matter site. Who knows where you're watching this, wherever it is. Really glad you're here with us today. Today's topic, I was thinking about something that kind of got discussed about a couple weeks ago, was about the term leadership soft skills. And believe it or not, there's people who have varying camps on this title. Like some people, have kind of turned the corner and said, we shouldn't call them soft skills. They're not soft skills anymore. Every leader needs these. And then someone else says, well, really the soft skills are the new hard skills. And then there's people like me who I just don't care what we call them, as long as we all try to get a little bit better. We're going through the same thing right now in the field of human resources. We call our department training and development. A lot of organizations are shifting to what's called learning and development. Training is a one-time event. Learning happens continuously. All those semantics are fine. And again, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter what we call it. I just want all of us to just get a little bit better at what we do. So whether you want to call these soft skills, hard skills, essential skills, whatever you want to call them, just wanted to share my take on these and hopefully inspire you to find a way to put one or two of them into your toolbox coming up. So here's one you don't hear about a lot, because again, managers are all about budgeting and organizing their teams and scheduling and all those quote unquote hard skills you have to do in management. One of the soft skills I think leaders need is storytelling. And again, I worked at Disney for 13 years. This is where I get this from. And the power of story can evoke emotion in your customers. It can evoke emotion in your direct reports. If you're trying to maybe influence, which we'll talk about in a couple minutes, people, there's a power of story. Disney knows this well. Even on the first day of orientation, which they call their traditions program, we spend a lot of time talking about the story of the company and the story of Walt Disney and the heritage and traditions. And we should be doing that for our organizations as well. It doesn't matter if you work in nonprofit, local government like I do. Perhaps you work in the for-profit sector. Perhaps you work in academia or education. There's a story to be told about your history, about your philosophy, about your values. And if we frame all this as stories with, what happened with with past employees or future employees or things like that, I think it adds value. So as a leader, do some research on storytelling. You can Google this. You can read books by by Walt Disney or P.T. Barnum or other creative thinkers like, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. How do they tell their story? And again, it's really easy in the theme park industry, but how do we do it in our industry as well? Another skill I think we all need is the skill, the leadership soft skill of connectedness. How are you at connecting with others and connecting others together? It's almost very similar to networking, but networking is kind of about you. How can I network and build my brand? Connectedness is more, yes, I want to do that, but I also want to bring other people together and other departments together. I was leading a session yesterday for a group from Jefferson County here in Alabama, a bunch of leaders and managers, and we were working on Standout 2.0, which is kind of the evolution of the Strengths Finder from, Marcus Buckingham and Clifton Strengths Finder. And now it's Standout 2.0, which is just nine strengths. And one of the strengths is being a connector. And we had a lot of people on that team who were connectors. And it's an essential skill because they can connect others with others. They can connect ideas and kind of bring them together. And I think that's a skill that we all need to have as leaders. And it's actually, it's one of those quiet but deadly skills, because if you're that person, you may not even know it. But if everybody is coming to you and you're like, oh, I've got a person for that, or you should talk to this person, or you know what, a couple of years ago, this person came by. All of a sudden, you have an incredible amount of gravitas, intellectual capital, knowledge that people are going to want. So be that connector as one of your skill sets. All right, I mentioned influence earlier. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Robert Cialdini. He wrote the book on influence and persuasion. He wrote a lot of books You can Google him, you can watch his YouTube talks. There's, according to him, there's 6 styles of influence, 6 traits, six styles that you can use to persuade others. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's very interesting, as long as you do it ethically. There's a danger in this soft skill of always trying to influence people because you come across as salesy or trying to get something for yourself. When the reality is, if you can influence others, that's a huge leadership soft skill, because not a lot of us have titles, or even if we do have titles, our sphere of influence may not be as wide as we want. So we have to use this skill in personnel board, where I work in our training department, a lot, because we can't force anybody to come to training classes. We have no control over the city of Birmingham or the city of Vestavia Hills or the Mountain Brook Fire Department. You know, we're not their leadership team. We can't go to them and say, get this training, it's good for you. So how do we influence? How do we influence people to be better at that and come to our training classes? Something we enjoy working on. And that's, again, one of our leadership skills. Let's see. All right, adaptability. This is no shock to any of us, but this is one that we all have to learn and grow. And the older a lot of us get, the harder it is to adapt. Change does not come easy for anybody. And if you're in a leadership role, you like the way you're doing it, it's quick, it's easy, but we have to adapt. We have to adapt to the new reality of electric cars. We have to adapt to the new reality of remote work. We have to adapt to the new reality of whatever the next thing is. I was speaking at a conference a few weeks ago, talking with some city clerks, and they were talking about the next big thing being AR and VR, you know, virtual reality and augmented reality. And how are they going to use that in their cities? How are they going to maybe use some robotics to help do some things? And to hear people in local government talk like this, it was great. It made me so happy, because I got to tell you, I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of, you know, VR and AR, and what does that mean? And, you know, do we need to start taking our payments in cryptocurrency? You know, can I pay my car tag and my bill? And all these city clerks are talking about all of this stuff because they have to adapt. They don't want to be left behind. They have to be. So being able to adapt and figure this out, I think, is something we all are excited about moving forward with. One of my personal things, and we've got a whole 3.5-hour class on this at the personnel board, is time management. Man, we are just being pulled from all different directions. And you know, those leaders who can't do this well, they are stressed and they fall behind on their emails, and they used to return emails within 24 to 48 hours. And now it's a couple days later, or maybe they don't return phone calls right away. And they've got, you know, upper leaders clamoring for their attention, and employees clamoring for their attention, and special projects. And then you got family, and then you've got aging parents, and then you've got kids, and then you've got school, and then you've got health issues, then you've got all these things. And you look at some of these quote unquote leaders who just don't have this skill to manage their time. So whether it's using Outlook calendaring, or using a Franklin Covey planner, taking a training class, prioritizing certain things, delegating better, all of these skills are quote unquote soft skills. But if you don't have them, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to be successful. So work on your time management skills. I think leaders need to inspire other people. I really do. And that's different from influence. You know, influence, you know, feels like it's more tactical, whereas inspiration feels a little more emotional. You know, how do you inspire people to get better? And maybe less about the customers and more about your coworkers. What do you do every day that's an inspiration to people? Something as simple as you're the one picking up trash in the parking lot as you're coming in, and they look at you and they get inspired by that. Maybe it's that no one in your department ever volunteers for the breast cancer run, and you as the leader volunteer, and that may inspire people to do other things. So, you know, inspiration, you know, comes from a bunch of different places. So you can force people to do things, you can maybe influence, you can persuade, but there's something emotionally connecting about inspiring others to try something new, to pick up a new hobby, to take that next step, to get out of their comfort zone, to set stretch goals. Truly inspirational. If someone ever says to you that is truly inspirational, what a comment. What a great thing. So see if you can be an inspiration to others. We've got to be more creative. We've got to be more creative as leaders. That is one of our skills. Again, today I'm talking about the essential soft skills of leadership. And we don't really hire for creativity unless you're in the creative field. Walt Disney Imagineering is going to hire for creativity. Graphics arts departments, marketing departments are going to hire for creativity. Frontline management at a manufacturing plant, we don't need creativity. Trainer at the personnel board, we don't need creativity. College professor, faculty member, healthcare, we don't need yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Because creativity has gone, in my mind, from being a nice to have to almost a need to have. Not only is your customer base looking for new and creative ways to pay their bill or experience your product, but your employees are also looking for creative outlets, and then don't forget, younger generations have been raised with technology, raised on the iPhone, raised on editing videos, raised on putting filters on things. And all that falls under the creative umbrella. So if your workplace is nothing but black and white and the same, and these are our processes and all of that, creativity is a skill that can not only help you retain your talent, but maybe recruit some people. Wow, this is the most creative hospital environment I've ever been in. This is the most creative auto parts shop I've ever been in, whether the creativity is through your processes or through your people or through just the placement of items. See if you can be creative at work. A couple more left. Attitude. I mean, I'm not even going to go into detail on this, but if you have a bad attitude as a leader, or a poor attitude as a leader, or a cranky attitude as a leader, then you're not a leader. Okay. Leaders can overcome. And I know plenty of people in management roles who I don't consider leaders, primarily because of this soft skill. Okay. There's a lot of back and forth about the fake it till you make it. Well, don't ever use that phrase. That's condescending. And I'm not saying fake it till you make it. We all have bad days. What I'm saying is, what presence do you put on with your attitude every day, no matter what happens? The good days and the bad, the tough times. Again, we had a group yesterday that I was working with from the county. They talked about just the amount of stress they were under because there were certain 2 or 3 projects happening at one time, but how good they felt when they completed those projects as there was a sense of accomplishment. They still kept a positive attitude. We can do this together. We can accomplish anything. I think it's important, y'all, have that positive attitude. And then finally, stress management. And I kind of mentioned this earlier. Yes, you need to be good at managing your time, but a leader, a great soft skill is also to be able to manage your stress. And there's so much of it right now. All of the things that are affecting our time are also affecting our stress levels. So yes, we make the jokes about getting on medication, drinking alcohol, doing all these things. But whether it's through prayer, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through scheduled breaks, whether it's through having a confidant that you can talk to, whether it's an open and transparent relationship with your supervisor where you can share, you can look up all of the numbers about what mental health looks like pre-COVID and to today. Everything from in our adolescence to our teens to our adults, of how mental health is shifting. Well, that's also going to affect stress levels, not just in that person, but also in the organization when people are coming and going and taking sick days and all that. So we have to be able to manage our stress. Check out some websites, some books, some things on that as well that'll help you manage your stress. So those are the 9. Be a good storyteller, connect with others, be able to influence others, again, adapt to all the upcoming changing things, be good with your time management and your inspiration. Creativity is important, have a positive attitude, and manage your stress. Now, again, I just put these together, and every now and then I like to put them into a word scramble to see what it comes out with. And believe it or not, when you put the first of these letters all together, it actually spells sciaticas, which is a so I didn't even know that sciatica, it's a painful disorder of the hip. and adjoining areas. So I guess my takeaway for this is if you don't have any of these 9 skills, you will start getting a painful disorder in your hip because you're not a good leader. So that's a horrible example, but I was just shocked that it actually came up. It made a word when I finished it. So that's always kind of fun. So thank you all for watching today. We appreciate you. Enjoy these soft skills, do these soft skills, lead with these soft skills, and you can make yourself and your organization even better. Thanks for watching today's Lunchtime Learning Blast with the Personnel Board of Jefferson County. Have a great day.